who have taken their time out and hearing out the session on nutrition. I hope you can take back a good message related what should be the nutrition requirements of the new normal. I think we all know the reason why we call it the new normal, because we have to start making our lives close to normal with the existing pandemic. It's not probably just, we are not just over with the pandemic, but we have to strike a balance and learn how we can manage ourselves, our immunity, and food and nutrition seems to be the best solution for it. So my name is Avaanti Deshpaande, and I'm MSc in Food Science and Nutrition. A little bit about the kind of work I have been doing. So I am an MSc in Food Science and Nutrition. I'm a certified nutrigenomic counselor. I'm also certified in transitional gut microbiome, which is one of the nascent fields that has come out. My area of work, I'm a consultant nutritionist. I'm a corporate wellness coach. I'm also a food consultant to a lot of restaurants and food brands. Lately, I have become also an entrepreneur where I have started my own food products. These are the new, this is like my new launch altogether. That's my logo for it. So we are trying to reconnect to our roots, and the products will be all reconnecting us back to the roots. My area of specialization of work is gut healing and PCOS. A little bit more about my affiliations. So I am a committee member with Indian Dietetic Association Pune. I'm also a life member there, and I'm associate life member with PCOS Society. I've been an author. I've written a book for healthy kids. I've also been a columnist for a lot of magazines and a lot of newspaper articles. And of course, got an opportunity to be a pageant nutritionist for Citadel 2017 and 18. So moving on to what we are going to discuss today. So it's become very important that we focus on our foods, and I think you all will agree with me, like in this pandemic, till we don't come out with any kind of a solution like a vaccine for managing ourselves through the pandemic, food or building our immunity seems to be the best solution out of it. In my today's talk, what I am going to speak about is what are the foods that you need to consume in the diet so that it will help you to build up your immunity. How should your meal planning be and meal timing be? So not only what you should be consuming, but when you should be consuming and what time of the day you should be consuming. What is the form of exercise that can be considered as best? So there are so many different forms of exercises, but each and every exercise has got its own charm, and each and every exercise has got its own importance. So I'll be speaking about that. Sleep strategies are very important, very essential, and other lifestyle habits that might be lowering your immunity. So all this put together, at the end of my talk, I'm sure you will be able to manage yourselves much better. And I know you all are physiotherapists, so you will be able to manage your patients and your clients also much better with something that will be a take-home message. Okay, so we move on to understanding why building up immunity is very essential, especially during or after this pandemic. Now that we are moving on to the new normal. So why is it important? As I told you, because we don't have a solid solution for this, for managing the COVID-19 and making our body strong, and trying to see that we are able to fight this virus as far as possible through our health being good to best is the only solution that is available with us. Apart from probably healthy eating, or probably having a good amount of water in the day, so on and so forth. Food seems to be the best solution for it. Now, how does the body build immunity? So there are two immune systems that we have. One is something which we call as an innate immunity, and the second system, what we call, is an acquired immunity. Okay. So the first line of defense is the innate immunity. Like it is inherent, and right from the child who is born, that innate immunity is there. This is the first line of defense. It will help us to tackle the bacteria, the virus, or the microorganisms, and the first time they attack us. Okay. After this, we develop something which is known as an acquired immunity, and that is developing antibodies towards the viruses, which are very specific to the kind of virus that is present. So once that innate immunity is strong, the acquired immunity gets better. And for all this, what is very important is the role of food. So food has a lot of role in order to build up your immunity, and I think it is very evident, in this 2-3 months of lockdown that we have seen. Okay. Now, in building immunity, you must have seen, even after the lockdown has, probably getting back to normal has started. But we still consider some people at risk. Now, who are they? Children, first of all, we consider them as the risk. Why are they more at risk for contracting COVID-19? Is because their innate immunity is strong, but the acquired immunity is not as strong as probably adults will be, because over a course of time, we have been exposed to a lot of virus, bacteria, and our acquired immunity as adults is much more developed as compared to children whose innate immunity is good, but acquired immunity just takes some time to build up. So that is why they are at more risk. Second set of people who are at more risk is somebody who is having comorbidities. What are these comorbidities? They will be like the lifestyle disorders, like there'll be diabetes, heart problems, hypertension. These people are more exposed to, they are somebody who might have worsening of the symptoms once they contract the COVID-19. Now, why this happens? It's very, very simple. In people who are having comorbidities, the immune system is anyways affected. So, in a way, the virus gets a chance to move into the body and attack the body much easily as compared to a healthy body. Now, the third set of people who are exposed to this kind of a risk factor is somebody who are the geriatrics or the old age, so 60 plus people that we consider. Now, why are they at more risk? As simple as that, because they are aging, the body's immunity is going down, and of course, along with it, a lot of people have started developing some kind of comorbidities along with age. That's why they are at a much higher risk, and the mortality rate or the rate at which adults are getting, or old age people are getting affected is much higher, and the recovery rate is also pretty low. So people who are adults, like our adults, generally the from the age group of probably 25 to 45 to about say 50, might be still at a better stage as compared to these all group of people that I just mentioned. Okay. Now, what you first and foremost need to understand is, if you have any kind of a nutritional deficiency, you are going to be more exposed to having a lower immunity. I think you all will agree with that, and you all must be knowing that as well. Okay, if there is anemia, the immunity is low, because of course iron, there's a deficiency of iron, and that is why the oxygen uptake is going to be affected, and that is the reason why the immunity is going to be low. So the people who are anemic, or the people who are having slightly lower levels of hemoglobin, are the ones who might be having some kind of a nutritional deficiency anemia. That is the iron deficiency anemia. The second kind of anemia is something which is known as a megaloblastic anemia. That is related to the B12 and the folic acid deficiency. So it is very, very essential to understand that you are not exposed to any kind of nutritional deficiencies. Now, there are a lot of nutritional deficiencies, and it is very person specific. But on a broad perspective, we have to talk about the most common deficiency seen in adults, or seen in the Indian population is first anemia, very common. Even though you are from affluent families, or even if you have been eating a good amount of food like iron-rich foods, protein-rich foods, then also you might just have anemia, because the quality of food that is available, if that is not good, then the anemia could set in easily. Common one which we I commonly see with the clients that I'm handling: iron deficiency anemia, B12 deficiency, D3 deficiency. Okay, these are the three deficiencies which are extremely common these days, and there are very simple signs and symptoms which you can understand whether you have been affected with these. I think since most of you all are from the medical or the paramedical background, you will be knowing what all to look for in your clients, in yourself, if you are having any kind of nutritional deficiency. So the foremost thing to build up a better immunity is see that you're not having any kind of other nutritional deficiencies. Okay. So as I've written all the deficiencies that could possibly occur. Okay. Now we move on to the foods that will help you to boost immunity. And protein, again and again, we have to understand the importance of protein in building up the immunity. As I told you, the acquired immunity requires protein, and that forms something which is known as immunoglobulins, and that is a line of defense which helps to protect our body from the virus, or any kind of a microbial attack. So it is very, very essential that the protein content in the body has to be extremely high. Okay. Now what happens is protein comes from various sources, but in India it is seen very commonly, and it has been given by the ICMR in the year 2017, where it is seen like more than 80% of people are deficient in India, because unfortunately today also our diets are something which is more carb rich as compared to more protein rich, because we focus more on carbohydrates in the diet as compared to protein in the diet. This is very, very natural, because carbs are our soul food. So for ages together we have been consuming carbs over a higher extent. But what is happening is, because these carbs are constantly being high, first of all, India has become the diabetic capital, and secondly, the availability or the amount of protein that should be consumed in a day is going up. Okay, so about 80% of people are experiencing this kind of a deficiency. Now the protein that you consume, even people like who claim that they're consuming good protein, like 50 to 70 grams of protein, that is what you should be consuming in the day. Then too, they might have a protein deficiency, because the biological value of protein is very, very important. Okay, what do I mean by biological value? When you consume protein in the body, say suppose if you're taking about 6 grams of protein per serve, how much is really available in the body for the absorption or taken into the body, it all depends upon what is the source of protein. So generally the non-vegetarian sources of protein, or the proteins which have got all the amino acids present in it, are something which we call as a high biological value protein. Okay, so to quote a few examples, eggs an excellent source which is of high biological value. It has got all the amino acids present in it. Okay, then you have the other non-vegetarian sources. Dairy, which is milk and milk products, is again going to have a high biological value. So your curds, paneer, milk will have a higher biological value. Okay. Now your dals and your cereals, that is your chapati and your rice, dals and pulses, like the moong matti masoor that you consume, do not have a high biological value as compared to the other non-vegetarian sources or the sources of animal origin. Okay. Now, even if that is the scenario, you can increase the biological value of protein by combining a carbohydrate and a protein vegetarian source. For example, best example is, if you're eating khichdi, you're adding a moong dal to it, you're adding a rice to it, and then that completes the biological value, and that is a complete protein. Okay, so you can think of doing such ideas. Even if you're eating parathas, eating like a paneer paratha, or instead of aloo paratha, eat a paneer paratha, eat dal paratha, that is automatically going to give you both the proteins put in together. Now, in vegetarian foods also, soy is something which has got all the amino acids present in it, and quinoa, which is available these days and gaining a lot of importance, is having all the amino acids. So in vegetarians, these are the two foods which you should think of consuming if you are a pure vegetarian. Otherwise, think of something which we call as mutual supplementation. Okay, I have noted down the sources of vegetarian and non-vegetarian foods. I have just spoken about it also. One trick that you can do is try to include protein in every meal. Okay, so we consider breakfast, your lunch, your snacks, and your dinner as 4 major meals in the day. Usually, that is what most of us consume. Okay. Now, in such scenario, what you do is try to have a protein in every meal. Like even if you're having breakfast, don't move on to upma and poha, which is a carb-rich food, but move on to something like having a paratha, thali peeth, dal dosas you can have, or something like oats and milk combined together, omelette and bread combined together, or even if you want to have poha, then you can have a cup of milk to go with that. So automatically you're having a combination put together. That's as far as breakfast. Then lunch, of course, consuming buttermilk, consuming dal along with the full meal is very important. I'm going to speak a little bit more about what is a healthy plate in some time. Okay, so make it a point to include your protein in each and every meal wherever possible. Having a fistful of nuts in the day, so you can have about 10 nuts in the morning, like almonds, 10 almonds in the morning. 4 o'clock when you're hungry, you can again have a few nuts. So you can distribute it that way. But automatically, if you have one serve of protein in every meal, you should be able to meet up to the 50 to 70 grams that is required in the day. Okay. Now, iron. As I was speaking, iron is very, very essential because iron is a part of hemoglobin, and that is very important for preventing body from anemia. Okay. And iron, and if the hemoglobin is high, increases the uptake of oxygen in the body, and I am sure you all must be knowing that it is very important that the